Mhm. Hello. Welcome, everyone. My name is Melissa Binkley, and I am the founder of the Intuitive Intelligence Academy. And I'm so excited for you to join me today so that I can how I built an international organization that how I built an international organization without all the overwhelm. I have been spending a lot of time traveling in the last few years, and I've really had an opportunity to make a huge difference in the world. And one of the things that I seem to notice is that we'll really have lots of questions about how did I build this experience, right? How did I build this world that I've created? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about all of that. But who am I really? Besides the founder of the Intuitive Intelligence Academy, who am I? What am I doing? Well, I'm really excited to announce, and one of the fun things is that the Intuitive Intelligence Academy has been in Inc. magazine, and we have articles coming out in BuzzFeed and Authority magazine and Forbes and Entrepreneur. I have been able to be on stage and share platforms with people like Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, who's running for president, John DeMartini, Gabby Bernstein. I've traveled the world and worked with organizations such in India and Nepal with trafficking and with sharing and helping people to heal at a core level. And I'm a #1 international best-selling author. And the Intuitive Intelligence Academy is the world's leading school for spiritual alchemy. And what I want to share with you today is how you can take the processes that I've learned and use them not only in your business, but in any area of your life to completely transform your experience. So you can learn and shift and take these kinds of practices and put them into place in your life in different areas. And that will really allow you to create an experience, whether it's you want to create more impact, whether you want to create more income, or you just want to heal yourself, help heal others, right? So this is for you. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed in your business, or you're just starting out and maybe you want to do something amazing in the world and don't know how yet, or maybe you're just a mom who wants to do better in your family, or you're struggling with self-confidence. Maybe you're tired of working long hours and paying yourself so little. So maybe you're stuck in a career that you don't like, or you're already working for yourself, but you're in the 92% of entrepreneurs that are making less than 6 figures. And when you break that down to hourly of what you're working and paying, you're probably making $10, $12 an hour. When you really look at it, that's where I was at one point. And I want to share you about that. What if, and this is also for you if you're worried about money, or if you want to create greater change in yourself or in your clients. Maybe you have a service-based business and you want to see your clients go to the next level. So today you're going to discover how to uncover the hidden blocks that are sabotaging your ability to have more money, more love, better health, and more happiness in your life starting right now. How to eliminate the biggest fears, doubts, insecurities, and limiting beliefs to your success and your clients. How to build a brand that creates impact. How to travel internationally if you want, and share your message. And it's very, very clear now that I've been doing this work for a while that there are some specific ways, and there's going to be 4 things that I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to give you an opportunity to understand the 4 ways that I have built an international business, and I'm coming to you from Australia right now, where I have been able to sign on $1 billion company to work with, how I have worked with thousands of people, run conferences and retreats, and really honed into a life that I love. And I'm only working 20 hours a week, sometimes 25. But wouldn't that be lovely? How many of you would like to have that? What would it be like if you only had to work 20 or 25 hours a week? How much more could you do with your life if you could create the life that you love you stop working 15-hour days and you can work 20 or 25 hours a week and really, really create an impact in your life. So, how did I get to this place, right? Like here it's 2019, almost 2020. And we're going to really talk about visioning and planning for your life. But I'm going to share with you that it wasn't always this way for me. It was not always the beautiful sunshine and rainbows and the travel and helping people. Just in 2009, I was homeless. I had gone through a breakup. I got fired from my job, had all sorts of things happen, and I ended up with an eviction notice and lived at friends' houses and in my car and different things for about a year. And in that time frame, I was like, I've got to do something different with my life. I can't do this anymore. I call it was my coming to Jesus moment. It was my dark night of the soul. And I had to shift and do something different. And that was when I first discovered IIN, which is the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Now, some 10 years later, I'm actually a teacher for the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where I went to school back in 2010. And they brought me back years later to teach this, what I'm teaching you. In 2017, they flew me to New York and I got to teach about masterpiece message. I got to teach about intuitive intelligence and how these things are really helping to change the world. So that was in 2009. And the struggle didn't stop there. So in 2010, I got a business, right? I went and I did trainings. I thought I was going to become a health coach. And so but you can't hear anything. Can you not hear anything? Well, I hope you can hear because I'm going to keep going. So in 2010, and so in 2010, I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and yet it didn't just all get better there. It's not like everything was all of a sudden beautiful and amazing and changes. As a matter of fact, from 2010 to 2013, although I started making money, I was no longer homeless. I only made about $30,000 a year, and I was personal training and I was trying to do my health coaching business. And I was really struggling to make money, right? To make money at what I loved. And so I was like, well, maybe I should go get a job, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes when you're building an empire or building impact, it's okay to have another job and to do those things at that time. But I was always, in a space where, I couldn't work for someone else. And so I decided that I was going to struggle through it and figure it out for myself and do a job. And not do a job, but I was going to really make this thing work. So I was making about $30,000 a year. And then all of a sudden I hit the formula. I figured it out, or so I thought. And in 2014, I made my first 6 figures. And then my business has grown every year since then. It started growing, I started doing conferences and events. And then in the beginning of 2016, I had a team of people. I fired my team and I walked away. I walked away from the business in 2016 at the pace that I had grown it. You want to know why? Because I was stressed and I was overwhelmed and I was doing everything that everybody taught me that I should be doing, but I was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it was completely, everything I was teaching to everyone else, I was not taking care of myself. I started having eating problems again. I was gaining weight, all of these different things that were not working well for me. And I really had to step back. I really had to look at my life differently. And so I fired my team. It was actually after my conference in 2015. I had people come from all over the world, about 180 people registered for this event. I had a very challenging event. It was people's lives changed, but in the back end with my partners and the salespeople and the things that were happening behind the scenes, like behind the curtains, was not pretty. And I realized at that moment I left my partner. I walked away. I left the business. I walked away. And in 2016, I was obviously running the programs that I had offered. I was doing that, but I didn't do anything new. I didn't go get clients. I didn't do anything. And it was a very financially challenging year for me. But it was the year that I learned about how to go from doing everything to allowing the universe to support me and to have the business show up and flow. So my income was less that year, but then the next year it completely changed and it doubled, and then it doubled again. And it was an amazing way to see how, and that's when I went from working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, to 20 hours a week, 25 at the most, which I still do to this day. So what I want to do is I want to give you an understanding of how to create more flow in your business, to create more ease in your life also, and how that'll show up instead of doing more things. How many of you have tried every program? I've done it all, tried all the things, done all the stuff. And what if you just had something that was simple and a plan that could really help you to make a difference? So my promise for you today I'm going to show you how I went from that stressed and overwhelmed to working only 25 hours a week and increased my income at the same time. And these are the 4 things that changed my business and my life, because my business is actually just an extension of my life. And I'll show you the techniques that allow you to transform your life, and if you want a business, your business, into something that gives you pleasure and joy. Because we've lived in a society that has been organized and ran by the brain, and given these systems of doing more instead of being more. And what if you could stop all the doing and just create the life that you love? And then what I promise is that at the end, first off, I have a big surprise. I got something major coming up that I'm so excited. I'm going to share with you a little bit later. And then also at the end, I'm going to share with you how you can join me or one of my team members for a session where we will help you to go to the next level in your life. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. It's going to be my gift to you for 2020, but you got to stay on to figure out what to do, how to do it, right? Okay. So when you learn, one of the keys that I learned was one of the things that has changed the most for me in my life has been the ability to connect with influencers all over the world. But how do you do that? How have I been on stage with Marianne Williamson and Dr. John DeMartini? How have I been on platforms with Lewis Howes and Deepak Chopra? How have I gotten into Inc. magazine and gotten our business in Authority magazine and been quoted in BuzzFeed, right? How did I do that? Well, it's all about who you know. It's the key. It's who you know. But how do you get to those people who you know? Well, part of it is you must have what I call a masterpiece. A masterpiece. What is a masterpiece? Think about it. Da Vinci, all of the great artists, right? They create masterpieces. You must create a masterpiece, a powerful message that allows you to get on it, to reach and connect with influencers, to connect with people that want to hear and want to know more about what you're doing, right? What is this thing? So when you think about this powerful masterpiece, right? This is a masterpiece. It's not just how do you separate yourself from what everyone else is doing and creating and having, right? So that was, for me, the key was when in 2016, when I decided that I was like, well, am I going to walk away and let everything go? I can remember the moment I was in Yosemite National Park, and it was right around September of 2016. I think it was later because I'd just come back from France. Yeah. But I remember being in Yosemite with one of my dear friends and former clients. And I got this message on thing, oops, your account has gone into the negative. I was like, again, right? Anybody ever have that one? Yep, I've done that one many times in my life. My account had gone into the negative, but this time I didn't have income coming in to replace it. I had run out of all funds. I was at a place where there was no new income coming in because I had taken the whole year and I was living off of residuals from my business and from the programs that I had been doing. And I was like, well, I guess that's the end. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to go back and get a job. I'm going to do these things. And when I spoke that out to the universe and was like, well, I guess it's time, I started getting messages from people that were on my email list, people that were on my Facebook saying, if you're going to walk away from this stuff that you've been teaching, you need to teach it to someone. And that was when the Intuitive Intelligence Academy was born. I had been teaching a process that I then turned into intuitive intelligence. And created the Intuitive Intelligence Academy. And we have now had hundreds of students from all over the world that have trained in our certifications and our training and our business, things like that. But I created this training that has changed people's lives. I gave it a name. I gave it a process. I worked on this messaging behind it, and then I shared it out to the world. So one of the things that you've got to really, really, really understand is, what is your masterpiece? How are you unique and different that you can then connect into the people like influencers that are going to make a difference and change your business, your world, your life? Mine has changed so much that I have even been contacted by, guess what? A talk show, but not just any talk show. One of the kingmakers of the world is, and I am in the process of looking at going on that talk show. How? I have a masterpiece message. I have something that is shifting and changing the world. And when we work together in our programs, when I work with people, I teach them how to bring together all of their experiences, everything that they are, and turn it into this message that they can then show and share with influencers that'll get them on stages around the world. I've spoken stages in front of 2,000 people, in front of 200 people. I have spoke at the world's #1 entrepreneur conference. I have spoke at spiritual events, spiritual conferences. You ever heard of like Wanderlust, right? Like things like this, where I have been connected in and been given opportunities to share my work on some of the biggest stages in the world because of my masterpiece message. So I want you to think about it for a moment. What is your masterpiece? What is it that you're going to share with the world? This is the doing part right here, right? This is the piece that you really got to understand to connect in and get the influencers. The next piece, though, around that is once you put these 4 pieces into place, you'll be able to create your vision and your plan for 2020. That's going to completely change how everything shifts for you, right? So the next thing, number 2, the thing that you're not doing that everybody needs to be doing that will allow you to go from not enough income or not living the life you want to really do it is accessing your intuitive intelligence. Yes. So if we don't want to do more, we've got to really understand how to access our intuitive intelligence is the gateway and the key to the field and to how you can step into flow and experience and trauma healing and all those types of things. So when you think about intuitive intelligence, it is understanding that you have an intuitive presence, that you're supposed to actually not be thinking with your head, right? All these processes, all of these things that we've been taught about how to run a business is all up here. It's all patriarchal. It's very masculine. It's very systemized, right? Which, yes, you need systems, and I can teach you systems. We can show you how to do that. But if you don't have this other piece, all the systems in the world and the plans will not get you any farther than where you're already at. Because the magic for me happened when I stopped in 2016. I started doing experiments with the field. I started experimenting with intuitive intelligence, experimenting with healing my own stuff, right? Heal yourself and you will heal the world. started shifting into all of those experiences. And what I recognized there was that by shifting in and starting to do and work in my own intuitive intelligence, listening to my intuition, what is it telling you? Are you trying to force your way down a path when the universe is trying to give you something else? So this is where the vision comes in, and you let go of the how. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to imagine that it's 1 year from now. Just take yourself along the timeline that is your life to see where your future is. And I want you to travel to December of 2020. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you notice? Who's around you? Where are you? How can you create the life that you want? By deepening in and stepping into your intuition, your intuitive intelligence at your core, the how will become available to you. Things will start to magically appear in your life. Mentors, teachers, processes, the way to do it, clients, right? All of the things will start to just hop in and just start to populate for you. Our newest program in the Intuitive Intelligence trainings, which came out in 2019, is called Quantum Miracles. And I would have never thought that I was going to be doing a Quantum Miracles program, but I listened to the universe and I asked what people wanted, and it filled up like this immediately. And I got to teach new processes and teach people about manifestation and understanding how they can use the field, right? I got to do that. And now guess what? Because of that, we're in the process of doing the world's largest healing experiment, manifesting experiment, the Miracles Experiment, Quantum Miracles. And it's going to be a book. It's a documentary. And there's even something else that goes along with it that I'll be sharing with you in a few minutes. So by listening to the intuitive hits that I was getting and the blocks that were showing up, the failures that were happening for me actually allowed a whole new program to come into being. And it was a completely different experience for us, right? And so since there's obviously technical difficulties and some people can't hear, we will definitely be putting up a replay for you, where you'll be able to get some of this. I apologize. I don't know why some people can hear and some people can't. So always fun. This is the thing. You just go with the flow. It is what it is, business and fun things that happens. But so if I hadn't listened to my intuitive intelligence, I would have never created the Quantum Miracles program, and I wouldn't be doing the world's largest miracles experiment now, or doing this documentary or writing this new book. And so listening and tapping into that. So how do you do that, right? Well, obviously it's the Intuitive Intelligence Academy. We have the processes. You can start to learn how to connect the heart to the brain. And then therefore that starts to open up your experience in your field so that you start to get downloads. You ever heard from some of the greatest minds, some of the greatest artists, some of the people that have written books where they said, you get downloaded with the information, right? Like these downloads. Wouldn't it be great if you could stop all the doing and actually learn how to download the information that is going to be the next right step for you? But guess what? To do that, you've got to heal the shit that's getting in the way, right? What is getting in the way of you creating the life that you want and creating the business that you want? The number one thing that I see that happens with people is that they usually hit a glass ceiling. Think about this. Where are your glass ceilings? Do you keep hitting the same point over and over and over again? It's actually called a harmonic point. And life is cycles, and we have these cycles. And every time you come around, you complete that cycle, you come to what's called a harmonic point on that cycle. Now, at that moment, in that harmonic point, you have an opportunity to do something different and jump off of that cycle and pattern and into the next level. The challenge is that most people live on that cycle and they keep going around and around and around, and they hit those harmonic points and they don't change. They don't do the work, or they haven't done the healing, or they haven't healed the stuff that's getting in the way. And this harmonic point becomes another time. And you know what happens every time you stay on a cycle that has a harmonic point and you don't heal that or don't learn it and go to the next level? It gets harder. It gets harder and harder and harder. Not easier, harder every time you go on the same pattern. So if you're on that pattern, because first the universe, you ever heard of like the feathers theory, right? Grace. And I call it the 2x4. The universe will show you a message or give you something. And at first it's just like a feather, real soft. I call it grace, right? It's just grace. It'll gives you an opportunity to make the change right then. And then it's another feather. But then you keep going on that same cycle again and again. And guess what? Then it is no longer a feather. Then they become bricks. Start throwing bricks at you, right? Or you get just hit up outside the head with a 2x4. You know how many people that I've spoken to that have been in, had cancer or been in massive car accidents or major tragedy. It wasn't until then that they paid attention and finally shifted. Do you want that to happen? Take time now to heal the stuff that's getting in the way. Tap into your intuitive intelligence. Heal these harmonic points that are stopping you from getting where you want to go. It's not as hard as you think. I've been working with people now in these processes for years, and I've seen the changes that have come about in their lives. I've seen everything from, I have clients that have now built a 8-figure business that's over $10 million. Yes, right? Why? They did this part. They did the intuitive intelligence work. They did the stuff that was helping them to shift so that they could move to the next level. Amazing. You know, I'm working with CEOs at a high-level multi-billion-dollar corporation because they know how important healing your trauma, where you're recognizing your patterns and reprogramming your brain, intuitive intelligence, is to healing your life. So I really recognize that's exactly what you need to do for yourself, right? It's the next step. It's the next experience for you. So how many of you are ready to step into intuitive intelligence in your life? Yeah? Yes? To say yes, say hello. And we're going to go on and I'm going to talk about the next key to how I've built this international organization without all the overwhelm. I got rid of that. The next is learning that you can affect the physical when you learn meditation and manifestation powers. It has changed my life. How many of you out there are meditators? Yes? Okay. Meditation, and with meditation is one of the things we teach in our Quantum Miracles program. We go dive deep into different types of meditations and understanding. There's walking meditation. There is healing. You know, there's all different types of ways that you can do meditation. Meditation is not just sitting in lotus position with your eyes closed and and having those things happen. It can completely shift when you are walking, right? I do a Quantum Miracles retreat, and we do this walking meditation that people think is probably one of the most powerful things that they've ever done. And the key to manifesting something in your business, in your life, is understanding how to get all of this stuff out of the way and to stop planning so much and to start meditating and asking for assistance. And then we can create the plan around that, right? Like create the vision, allow that vision to have, and then create the steps. But what I do instead, what we teach, is we go from the end point and work backwards, because we have now found that the future is affecting you as much as the past is affecting you, right? Everything happens right now in the quantum. And so we can go in and source your future experience, your future self. And then it's called retrocausal. Retrocausal means that it will work itself backwards to create this circumstance so that you can have that experience in the future. So what we do when I teach people how to do planning And I just did a men's retreat here in Western Australia where we did, and one of those was one of my 8-figure business owners, and he worked on creating his business plan for 2020 in a completely different way than he's ever done in his life. And it was so incredible. And they're getting ready to go up to like 15 million and keep growing, right? And he was able to create his vision and the plan for his business for 2020 in a completely different way because we stepped him into the future and then worked backwards from that and created the systems and the plans so that you can have that. That's a miracle in itself. So when you, that's what I want you to do, and the experience I want you to have is like really start to think about that. What's that bigger vision that you want to have, and stepping in and using techniques to manifest, using meditation as a way to create and find the experience that you want. I love teaching about how we can shift completely in our bodies and how that experience will completely change who you are and in your business. So instead of listening to all of the patriarchal systems out there that are telling you that you've got to do more in your business, how about you step in and be more? Because the next thing, and so let me tell you what's going on. I'm going to share with you something massive and major I'm super excited about, because I think it's the perfect time with the manifestation and the quantum miracles piece here that I was just sharing about meditation and quantum miracles. I am in the process of coming out with my first Oracle deck. It is called Quantum Miracles, and it goes with the Quantum Miracles documentary that we're doing. And we actually have who wants to be a part of the world's largest miracles experiment? Learn how to do that, right? Well, that's what we're doing next year. We have the Quantum Miracles experiment coming up, and it starts the Quantum Miracles intensive is going to be 9 months that we're going to be stepping in and teaching miracles and how to do that, but for 9 months, and so that you can actually take this process. But part of that with the Quantum Miracles book and the documentary is I'm coming out with the Quantum Miracles Oracle deck. And I got the cards downloaded to me. It's 44 cards in the deck. It's going to be coming out next year. It'll be right before, it'll hopefully be out by my conference in June. The Transform Live conference is in June of next year. And so hopefully we will have it out by then. And so we can share them with everybody. But I'm so super excited to have, to be sharing the Quantum Miracles Oracle deck as my first experiments in doing something like that. It's going to be great. But anyways, so that's how when you step into the field where your business can start growing, where you can start learning things, where you can start adding in new processes and new things that you may have never thought were going to be a part of what you were doing. Part of what we're also doing at the Intuitive Intelligence Academy is bringing on new teachers. One of the things that, and we have amazing students right now that are in our classes and in our courses, and we're partnering with them. We're bringing on them as not just when they come in as students, but we're creating a community where they are also can come in and work with the students and the other people that we come into the academy and into our training processes. So we're always hiring people in like that, and we're bringing in new teachers and things like that. So look where you can go with your business or with your life when you start to look at things from a different point of view, right? When you can step out and say, okay, now that I have a masterpiece message, I have this incredible way to tap into my own intuitive intelligence, how to heal my own stuff. And then I start doing meditations, right? Meditating, working in that. Then you're opening up the magic of the universe. You're opening up around those experiences. So the fourth thing that for me has been one of the most impactful things in creating a business that I love and helping people is contribution, is giving back. It is, first off, I got to a point in my business where I was making the money that I wanted. You know, everybody says they want to make 10 figures, right? I want 10K a month. That's what I get, a lot of that from people that are interview with us or that are interested in taking our programs at the academy, or want some business advice. And I asked them, well, what's your goal? 10K a month. And I was like, great, spend 12K. Right. What does that mean? 10K a month, right? Start to look at things in a bigger point of view. Because if you're making $120,000 a year, but you're spending 119,000, that means your profit's only one. You might as well just not do nothing and make $1,000 a year, right? You're working really hard for that. But if you're going to make $120,000 a year and you're spending 20 on it, right? Then you have $100,000 six-figure profit. It's a huge difference. I was making money, lots of money in 2014, 2015 before I walked away in 2016, yet I couldn't pay my bills. I was having problems with always overdrawing my accounts, not being able to pay enough people. I was running these big conferences that are costing me a hell of a lot of money. I was doing all these things, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied, and I felt like I was just on this big hamster wheel, in this cycle of things. And so one of the things that I changed in 2016 when I shifted everything was I put service and contribution first. That was the first time I went to India and Nepal and worked with trafficking. I'm now on the board for several trafficking organizations here. I work with veterans organizations. We work with PTSD. We work with rehab units. Why? Because I have a masterpiece message. You want to get into working. I mean, maybe you just want to do something that helps others and you don't want to build a business out of it. Maybe you just want to do go help veterans or homeless people or something. Guess what? You want to get into organizations that you can do that with at a greater level. You still got to have a message. You still got to know how you're going to talk to them, what you're going to do. Right? It's very powerful. So now I've been able to have the opportunity. That's why I'm actually in Australia. Is I'm over here so that I have the opportunity to work with some really, really big industries to change the suicide rate in the organizations and things that are going on. So contribution, giving back. And giving back doesn't mean you have to give money. It can mean time. It can mean a hug. It can mean a laugh. It can mean anything, whatever that looks like for you. But when you start to bring in contribution, service into the work that you're doing, into your life, I guarantee you, no matter what you do, you will have a successful life. I was standing here just 2 nights ago, speaking to a young girl. So I'm in Australia, but I'm speaking to a young girl who's 19 years old who came to my conference in California last year. And she stood in front of me and she broke down and she started crying. She says, I have to tell you that I was in a really bad place when I came to your conference last year. And she says, my whole life has changed. And that hasn't even been 9 months, maybe. She said, my whole life has changed. She's 19. She's meditating. She's teaching the processes that I taught at my conference to her friends. That's contribution and impact. For me, it wouldn't matter if I made no more money. I hear that. I hear those messages and that stuff on a daily basis now. I'm so blessed. And that for me has changed everything. That I can able to see somebody that was suicidal who's been at one of my events and say that they've completely healed, or someone that had PTSD, or someone that had a trigger, or someone that had a business that was failing that now is making multiple 6 figures. I've seen all sides of it, right? For me, the contribution and the ways that I've been able to give back, and I'm going to keep doing more. My goal is, our goal is 10 countries a year. And everywhere that we go, we try to implement and put something in for people that are less fortunate. I'm building a resort in Lombok, Indonesia, where we'll be doing our Quantum Miracles retreats. And what are we doing with that? Part of the money and the proceeds are going back into the community and into the people that live in Areguling so that they can have better lives. We're building the original retreat center that is being done here in Australia by very dear friends of mine, clients and friends that will be doing retreats in. And the money that when I do my retreats there for people when they pay to stay, all of it is being going into a pot that goes back to give to children and kids that will never have an opportunity to go and be taken care of the way that we will. And they get to come for free. Contribution. And it just starts small. It doesn't matter what it is, but I'll tell you, it has changed my life. And it's changed my experience. So what I want to share with you, what I want to offer with you today is I have been so blessed to be able to do this work. And I know that there are things that we're struggling with out there, whether you need to understand how some stuff that's getting in your way. Maybe you want to learn a little bit more about manifesting. Maybe you have some specific plans and things that you need to create in your business that are stopping you from getting to the next level, right? Whatever it is, whether you're whatever those things are that you need, or maybe you want to know about how you can be more, add more contribution in. But if you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level in 2020, I want to offer you a complimentary, it's called an impact to income session, because I believe impact equals income. The more impact you make, the more income you're going to make, whether you're doing it as a business or not. The more impact that you make in people's lives, the more income you're going to end up bringing in. I mean, maybe you start investing. I started investing in Australian stocks this time, super cool. But whatever it is, right? That's going to do that. So it's a complimentary session. You will either get to talk to me or one of my clarity coaches, and we are going to help you strategize and plan for 2020, and then tell you if maybe if there's something that you if we have a program or process or something that might help you, we're going to share it with you, but we're going to help you either way. So I want you to click the button, find a time on the calendar so that you can come in and learn how to completely shift your life, or to shift something in your business. Are you struggling right at the precipice of like making the breakthrough to the next level in your income? Maybe there's one little process or one little thing that is not quite right yet in your masterpiece message, that if you do that, it'll get you access to influencers. Or maybe you're like me and you want to be one to many, and you want to speak on stages, and yeah, you need a little bit of help with the messaging around how do you do that? How did I get on all of these stages all over the world and work and be in that process, right? Well, it is actually a process. So there are specific steps that you do need to take that will help you with that. Or maybe you have you're a coach already or a healer, and you're running a business and you want another process. You want to learn about how to help your clients to have bigger breakthroughs. What if you could have and learn something that you could add into what you're already doing? We have people at the Academy that are pranic healers, coaches, health coaches, social workers, doctors, psychologists, acupuncturists, CEOs that have all come in and learned our intuitive intelligence work, and then take it back in, and they've used it with their clients, and their clients are just having even more breakthroughs, even going to the next level. So maybe you're looking for a process for yourself to heal your own stuff. And we can teach you some of that, or you have a process or want to learn more about how to integrate new processes into your practices so that you can do that. Maybe you have quite a question about meditation or how to manifest, right? Those things there, meditations and manifesting and taking it to the next level are really important. Whatever that is, I want to do a session with you. We're coming up on the precipice of one of the most powerful years, 2020, right? Everything is being created right now. We are in this beautiful experience. And what are you going to do differently if you're on a harmonic point? What are you going to do differently this time around? Maybe you say yes to something that you've always never said yes to before. Maybe, like for me, back in 2013, when I first made that big jump from $30,000 a year to my first six figures, you know what I did? I said yes to coaching and to a mastermind. Did I have the money? No, I actually was at a conference in New York City that I had gotten a ticket for $97. I was staying with a friend, and I called my baby sister and borrowed $500 from her to sign up for my first program. And now look where I am. Sometimes we let the fear of not having the thing that we need. Maybe I don't have, how many people I hear say, I don't have the money. I can't do this thing. That lack mentality, that lack right there, that idea will block all of your manifestation. You must live as if before you can actually do it. So for me, right, if I'm going to be a 10 millionaire, if I'm going to create an 8-figure business, then I have to live like I already am an 8-figure business owner. You know what I did? I found out that my friends were all going to Miami for New Year's Eve. And so I bought a one-way ticket, not cheap at New Year's Eve, let me tell you. I would not, buy a one-way ticket to New Year's Eve. We're getting a VIP table and we're doing it up in Miami like we're eight-figure business owners when we're not quite eight figures yet. So, but if I'm going to live as if, right, I have to do that right now. So I took a little bit of, a challenge to myself and said, you're going to do it no matter what. And the universe is going to show up for you and it's going to be okay. And so now we are congregating 10 people in Miami. It was a big surprise, but I had to tell them for this incredible experience. So that's for you. What are you going to say yes to? What are you going to shift on your harmonic point? That's going to change everything for you. At the Intuitive Intelligence Academy, we have different processes and programs and all sorts of different stuff that you can do to learn how to build your business or to transform your life or to heal your trauma. We even have a self-healing program coming out in 2020 after Quantum Miracles in 2019. Or maybe you want to be a part of the world's largest miracles experiment. Whatever it is, let me help you walk into 2020 by signing up for a complimentary impact income session. And I can't wait to talk to you. Bye.